It was a quiet morning when Mr. Harold, 75 years old, stepped into his bathroom as he had done hundreds of times before. The water ran warm, the steam gently filled the air. But within minutes, what started as a simple shower ended in tragedy. This isn't meant to scare you, it's meant to protect you. Everyday habits can become dangerous with age, and one of the most overlooked risks is when seniors choose to shower. In this video from True Senior Wisdom, we'll explore the hidden dangers of showering at the wrong time of day, why it matters more after 60, and what you can do to stay safe, steady, and strong. Let's begin with why timing matters more than you think. Section 1. Why showers become riskier with age. As we age, even familiar routines, like taking a warm shower, can become unexpectedly dangerous. Our bodies change in subtle ways that affect how we respond to temperature, balance, blood flow, and hydration. Let's break down the key reasons showering becomes riskier after age 60, and why those risks often go unnoticed until it's too late. 1. Weaker blood pressure regulation. In younger years, the body has a finely tuned system for maintaining stable blood pressure even during sudden changes, like standing up or into a warm shower. But with age, the ability to self-regulate declines. This condition, called orthostatic hypotension, is common in seniors. When hot water hits the skin, blood vessels expand, lowering blood pressure. For someone with already reduced regulation, this drop can be enough to cause lightheadedness, sudden vision blurring, fainting, a dangerous fall in a slippery setting, and because this often happens quickly, the person may not even have time to react or grab a support bar. 2. Declining balance and reflexes. As we grow older, our reaction time slows. The inner ear, which helps with balance, also begins to degenerate. Add in aging muscles, joint stiffness, or medications that cause dizziness, and showers become a perfect storm for imbalance. A slip that a 30-year-old could catch with a quick step or grab might cause a 70-year-old to fall completely, especially when wet and barefoot. The consequences can be serious: broken hips, concussions, spinal injuries. 3. Reduced temperature awareness. Seniors often lose sensitivity to heat and cold due to changes in skin nerve endings. This means a shower that feels pleasantly warm might actually be too hot, leading to overheating, dehydration, or even thermal shock. Additionally, heat causes peripheral vasodilation. Blood rushes to the skin away from internal organs. If the person is dehydrated or hasn't eaten, this can drastically lower blood pressure and cause collapse. This is especially common in early mornings when blood hydration are low, long, steamy showers that increase core temperature, enclosed bathrooms with poor ventilation. 4. Hidden dehydration and low blood sugar. Many older adults wake up slightly dehydrated. After 7 to 8 hours without water, the body's blood volume is lower and blood pressure is more fragile. Add to this skipping breakfast, taking medications that dehydrate like diuretics, not drinking enough fluids the day before, and the risk multiplies. Showering in this state can be dangerous, even if everything feels fine initially. That's what makes it so tricky. There are often no warning signs before the fall. 5. Increased risk with chronic conditions. Older adults often live with conditions like high or low blood pressure, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, neuropathy, nerve damage. All of these conditions make the body more vulnerable to sudden physiological changes, like those triggered by hot showers, fast movement, or long periods standing. For example, a diabetic senior might not feel their legs go numb from poor circulation, leading to instability. Someone on blood pressure medication may experience a stronger than expected drop when showering. 6. The bathroom itself is a high-risk zone. Let's not forget, bathrooms are consistently ranked as one of the most dangerous rooms in the house for seniors. Wet tiles, slippery soap residue, foggy mirrors, and poor lighting, high step-in bathtubs without support bars. These environmental factors can turn a minor wobble into a life-threatening injury. Real-life story: why Mr. Harold's story matters. Mr. Harold was 75. He lived alone. One morning, as was his routine, he woke at 5:30 a.m. and went directly into the shower. He hadn't yet had water, he hadn't eaten, he took a mild blood pressure medication the night before. By 5:45 a.m., he had collapsed. Emergency services later determined he suffered a sudden drop in blood pressure combined with mild dehydration. The fall caused head trauma, and although he was found within an hour, it was too late. Mr. Harold's story is tragic, but not uncommon. These types of accidents are preventable with the right awareness and small shifts in behavior. After 60, your body speaks in subtler ways. It needs more time to warm up, more hydration to stabilize, and more caution in routines that once felt automatic. Showering may seem simple, but for aging bodies, it's a delicate balancing act of heat, pressure, reflex, and safety. Understanding how your body changes is the first step. The next, making gentle, life affirming choices that protect you every single day. Let's move on now to explore exactly when showering becomes most dangerous and how to avoid that window of risk. Section 2, the most dangerous time of day to shower. Now that we've explored why showering becomes riskier with age, let's talk about when it's most dangerous. There is one window of time each day when your body is more vulnerable, your systems are less alert, and your risk of serious accidents dramatically increases. Yet many people unknowingly choose this time to shower. That time is early morning, especially between 4:30 a.m. and 7:30 a.m. Why is this time so dangerous? Several factors converge in this time frame to increase the risk. 1. Natural low point for blood pressure. Your blood pressure is naturally lowest during sleep. It begins to rise gradually as you wake up, but for many older adults, especially those on medications, it may still be too low to safely handle the sudden heat and upright movement involved in a shower. Standing up too quickly after sleep, followed by hot water hitting the skin, can cause orthostatic hypotension, a rapid drop in blood pressure leading to dizziness, nausea, or even unconsciousness. 2. Dehydration and blood volume drop. After 6 to 8 hours of not drinking water, your blood volume is slightly reduced. Dehydration makes it harder for your heart to circulate blood properly. When paired with warm water's dilating effect on your blood vessels, this can result in a sudden fainting episode. Even mild dehydration increases your fall risk. 3. Low blood sugar. If you haven't eaten anything yet, your blood sugar may be low, especially if you are diabetic or pre-diabetic. This adds another layer of instability. Low blood sugar makes your brain sluggish, your coordination weak, and your risk of confusion or imbalance higher. 4. Core temperature at its lowest. Your body's core temperature is at its lowest point in the early morning. A sudden rise in external temperature from hot water can shock the system. This not only affects your blood vessels, but also your nervous system's ability to regulate pressure and balance. Let's revisit the story of Mr. Harold from Section 1. He was 75, generally independent, and woke early at 5:30 a.m. Without eating or drinking, he went directly into the shower. Less than 15 minutes later, he collapsed. What likely happened was a triple combination of low blood pressure, early morning dehydration, and rapid heating, a recipe for disaster. And he's not alone. Emergency rooms frequently report falls and fainting injuries among seniors between 5 to 8 a.m., especially in bathrooms. Many seniors live alone. If they shower early in the morning while family or caregivers are still asleep or out, a fall may go unnoticed for hours. This delay in care can turn a minor accident into a fatal event. This is why the timing of your shower matters just as much as your physical condition. Other morning risk amplifiers. Taking a diuretic or blood pressure medication the night before, sleeping poorly, which affects coordination and alertness, showering in a poorly lit or foggy bathroom, having no grab bars or anti-slip mats, skipping your morning medications, or eating routine. These may seem like small details, but they can be the difference between a safe morning routine and a devastating fall. So what's the solution? Avoid showering immediately after waking up, especially if you haven't had water or food. Give your body 1 to 2 hours to fully wake up and stabilize. Ideal timeframes to shower instead: mid-morning, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., early evening, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. These windows give your body time to hydrate, eat, and become fully alert. You'll also be less likely to be alone, increasing the chance someone is nearby if something happens. If you must shower early due to schedule or habit, follow these precautions. Drink a full glass of water at least 15 minutes before. Eat a small snack. A banana or toast works well. Sit down briefly upon waking before standing. Use lukewarm water, not hot. Let someone know your shower time if possible. The time you choose to shower may seem like a small detail, but it's one of the most underrated risk factors for seniors over 60. By simply shifting your routine an hour or two later, you could dramatically reduce your risk of fainting, falling, or suffering a preventable injury. Your daily habits shape your long term safety. Let your shower time reflect your wisdom, not your urgency. In the next section, we'll talk about other high risk moments you should also avoid and how to protect yourself no matter the time of day. Section 3: Other high risk moments to avoid. While early morning is the most dangerous time for seniors to shower, it's not the only risky moment. Throughout the day, there are other seemingly normal situations that can quietly raise the risk of fainting, falls, or fatigue, especially when paired with hot water and slippery floors. Let's break down these moments and explain why they matter. 1. Immediately after exercise. It might feel refreshing to hop in the shower after a walk or workout, but for seniors, this is one of the worst times to bathe, especially if the water is hot. After exercise, your blood vessels are already dilated and your heart rate elevated. Showering immediately afterward can cause a further drop in blood pressure, lead to sudden dizziness as you transition from movement to standing still, increase dehydration risk due to sweating and heat exposure. What to do instead? Cool down for 15 to 20 minutes before showering. Rehydrate with water or an electrolyte drink. Sit or rest for a bit to allow your body to stabilize. 2. After taking certain medications. Some medications increase the risk of dizziness, heat sensitivity, or dehydration. These include blood pressure medications, especially ACE inhibitors or diuretics, sedatives or sleep aids, medications for anxiety or depression, heart medications like beta blockers. Taking a hot shower shortly after these medications can heighten side effects and lead to instability. Safe practice: time your showers at least 1-2 hours after medication if possible. Monitor how your body feels after new prescriptions. Avoid mixing medication time with hot showers until your routine is stabilized. 3. After a large meal. Eating a heavy meal diverts blood flow to your digestive system, temporarily reducing circulation to your brain and muscles. Showering during this time, especially with heat, can lower your energy and increase the risk of fainting or dizziness. Signs to watch for: feeling sleepy or sluggish after eating, slight nausea or heaviness when standing too quickly. What to do instead: wait at least 30 to 60 minutes after eating before showering. Choose light, balanced meals if you need to shower soon afterward. 4. During times of fatigue or emotional stress. Feeling tired, emotionally overwhelmed, or mentally foggy can affect balance, coordination, and reaction time. Showering while in this state may increase your fall risk, make you less aware of heat or steam levels, lead to poor decision making about standing too long or ignoring symptoms. If you're not feeling well mentally or emotionally, give yourself grace and delay the shower. Self care also means rest. Instead, take a brief nap, have a warm drink, or meditate. Shower once your energy feels stable. 5. Late at night or when you're alone. Evening showers may feel relaxing, but if you're alone and tired, they present a risk. The danger is not just about physical conditions, it's about delayed response time if something goes wrong. Drowsiness and slower brain function reduce balance and alertness. Accidents at night may go unnoticed until morning. If you prefer night showers, keep the water warm, not hot. Turn on bright lighting. Let someone know or keep your phone nearby in case of emergency. 6. Right after waking from a nap. Just like in the early morning, waking suddenly from a nap puts your body in a vulnerable transitional state. Blood pressure is still low, brain activity is groggy, muscles may feel weak or stiff. It's best to allow at least 15 to 30 minutes between waking and showering. Use that time to stretch gently, drink water, sit up slowly. No matter when you shower, always follow these precautions. Hydrate. Always drink a glass of water before bathing. Check room temperature. Keep the bathroom ventilated and warm, but not steamy. Install safety tools. Grab bars, shower chairs, and non-slip mats save lives. Avoid multitasking. Don't rush or combine showering with other stressful tasks. Practice mindfulness. Stay aware of how your body feels. If you're off balance or lightheaded, delay the shower. Sometimes it's not just when you shower, it's what else is happening in your body. By identifying these high-risk moments and gently shifting your habits, you build a routine that protects your health and honors your needs. You deserve to feel safe. You deserve to feel steady. and you deserve to bathe with peace, not worry. In the next section, we'll explore how to build the safest possible shower experience with practical tips and tools every senior should know. Section 4, Safer Alternatives, When and How to Shower. Now that we've covered the high-risk moments to avoid, let's focus on what you can do. A safe, enjoyable shower is still very possible. It just requires a few mindful adjustments, both in timing and technique. Here's how to transform your daily routine into a healing, stabilizing ritual. 1. Optimal times of day to shower. Avoiding early mornings doesn't mean avoiding showers altogether. It simply means choosing times when your body is most alert and hydrated. Recommended time windows. Mid-morning, between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m., your body has had time to fully wake up, you've eaten, and blood sugar levels are more stable. Early evening, between 5 p.m. and 7 p.m., this allows time after dinner for digestion and avoids the disorientation of nighttime drowsiness. Avoid showering immediately upon waking, late at night before bed, especially if alone, right after strenuous activity or heavy meals. 2. The importance of pre-shower hydration. One of the simplest ways to improve safety is to drink a full glass of water 15 to 30 minutes before bathing. Hydration helps stabilize blood pressure, improve circulation, enhance cognitive alertness. If you tend to forget, set a reminder near your bathroom mirror or shower door. Pair this with a light snack if you haven't eaten. Even half a banana or a few crackers can help with dizziness. 3. Bathroom modifications that save lives. Turning your bathroom into a safer environment is an investment in your health, independence, and peace of mind. Here are must-have modifications. Non-slip mats. Place them inside and outside the shower. Grab bars. Installed near the entrance, inside the shower, and next to the toilet. Shower chair allows you to sit while bathing, reducing strain. Handheld shower head, easier to control and reduces the need to move around. Anti-scald valves prevent water from becoming dangerously hot suddenly. Bright lighting helps improve visibility and reaction time. Emergency alert system, waterproof panic button or smartwatch in case of emergency. Even one of these changes can make a tremendous difference. 4. Water temperature matters. Many people associate hot showers with comfort, but high temperatures can be dangerous, cause sudden blood pressure drops, increase heart rate unnecessarily, lead to overheating and fainting. Ideal temperature, warm, not hot. You should not see steam or feel flushed. Use a thermometer if needed. 98 degrees Fahrenheit to 140 Celsius, 37 to 40 degrees Celsius is a safe range. If your skin turns red or you feel slightly breathless, the water is too hot. 5. Shower, mindfully, not quickly. Rushing in the bathroom leads to poor balance, hurried movements, and avoidable errors. Instead, turn your shower into a calming ritual. Play soft music or nature sounds. Focus on your breath and the feeling of water. Move slowly and steadily, no multitasking. This not only reduces falls, it improves mental clarity and lowers stress. Tip: use a towel robe or long-handled brush so you don't bend or reach excessively. 6. Use a showering checklist, simple but effective. Create a visible checklist by your bathroom door. I drank a glass of water. I've had a light snack or meal. I feel alert and steady. I've let someone know, or I'm wearing an alert device. Water is warm, not hot. I have my non-slip mat and chair ready. Repeat this daily until it becomes second nature. Just 5 seconds of checking can prevent 5 hours in an emergency room. 7. If you live alone, have a plan. Many seniors hesitate to shower alone due to past falls or fear of fainting. Here's how to reduce anxiety. Let a trusted person know when you'll shower. Set a timer so someone can check in if they don't hear from you. Consider showering only when others are home, if possible. Wear a waterproof medical alert button. Some seniors even install a motion sensor light or smart speaker that can detect movement and send alerts. Peace of mind is worth the preparation. 8. Healing alternatives to a full shower. On days when energy is low, you can still stay fresh and clean without a full bath. Use no-rinse body wipes. Do a sponge bath from a seated position. Wash key areas, face, underarms, feet, groin with warm cloths. These options are especially useful during recovery from illness or injury and are still very respectful, dignified methods of hygiene. Making changes to your shower routine isn't about fear. It's about loving your body enough to protect it. It's about turning the most ordinary part of your day into a moment of calm, connection, and clarity. You deserve that. And every time you choose a safer, more intentional way to care for yourself, you remind the world that your life is still sacred. Your health matters, your safety matters, and most of all, you matter. After 60, wisdom lives in the details. It's no longer about how fast you move, but how thoughtfully you live. You've spent decades showing up for others. Now it's time to show up gently for yourself. Because safety isn't weakness, it's love in action. Choosing to shower at the right time, drinking a glass of water before you bathe, placing a hand on the wall before you step in, these aren't small acts. They're radical acts of care. Mr. Harold's story doesn't have to become anyone else's. And maybe, just maybe, one mindful choice today could be what keeps you strong, steady, and here tomorrow. You are not fragile, you are experienced, and your life is still deeply valuable. Let every drop of water remind you your body is worthy of protection. Your peace is worth the pause. Your routines deserve reverence. Let safety become sacred. Let care become your quiet strength. If this video offered insight or comfort, please like and support our channel. Share your thoughts or stories in the comments. Your wisdom may save someone's life. Subscribe to True Senior Wisdom for more safe, healing, and empowering tips for thriving after 60. Your safety isn't optional, it's essential, and so are you.